Over the years, our beautiful city, Washington, D.C., has developed into a large, multicultural society. There are so many career opportunities that draws people to this beautiful DMV area. Tourists travel from far and near to see the National Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and many historical museums. And you can find any type of food you desire in these diverse localities. But underneath all the beautiful and charmed attractions, there's people like you and I that struggle from day to day with normal issues. There's also people in the DMV area that suffer from anxiety, PTSD, depression, and other mental health issues. Some issues are caused by traumatic incidents, and some issues are caused from daily situations that we find ourselves stumbling into just by living our normal lives. We are often taught as children to watch what you say or don't talk too much. But right now and today, we are stopping the silence. DMV Madam D is here to tell you you are not alone. And this is your platform to help stop the silence. We will discuss daily issues in which we all struggle with as regular people who simply just want to live in content and comfortable in our normal lives. Do not feel the need to keep your mouth covered about your emotions and feelings. It's okay to not be okay. So uncover your mouth, DMV, and welcome Madam D in Stopping the Silence.
Welcome to another episode of Stopping the Silence. Stopping the Silence. We want to welcome everyone, new viewers, old viewers. Thank you for coming on another episode. And we're so excited to have Mr. Ane Chapman. Thank you for coming. How you doing?
Doing wonderful. Glad to be here and ready to chop up some good game.
Yes. Tell us about yourself, where you're from, and how we follow your social media.
So I'm Ane Chapman from Mississippi. Born to 14-year-old parents, raised by a godly grandmother. So I give her credit. I salute her for all that I am and all that I shall be. I work as an educational consultant, traveling the country teaching students life skills. Just recently launched the Young Kings Gentleman School here in Tupelo, Mississippi, where we teach boys 10 to 18 life skills. So it is a life skills academy, where we teach them how to iron clothes, how to wash clothes, how to change a flat, how to cook, all those lessons that they need to have when implementing those lessons into the school. And so we're very excited about what we have going on here in Mississippi.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Well, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, guys. Today's topic is calling all kings. Calling all kings, and we want all the kings to rise to the occasion. So in your opinion, Mr. Ane, and by your experience, what do you think is the biggest issue for men today that hinders them from being who they're called to be?
Well, I think the biggest issue is men not operating in their purpose, right? I think one of the greatest tragedies for men is a man that refuses to get in his lane. I like to use that terminology of finding your lane, and once you know what your lane is, it keeps you from operating in somebody else's. Yeah. And so we need more men stepping up, operating in their lane, whatever their lane may be. Is it mentoring? Is it helping somebody find a skill? Is it education? Is it through the church? Like, we have to really, really find that lane and begin to operate in our purpose. And I think that's what kind of keeps us back from doing what it is that we need to do. Dr. Miles Monroe says that the richest place on earth is the graveyard.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, what in the world is he talking about? And what he's saying is that so many people go to the grave with gifts and talents that they never use.
That's right.
All of these great things on the inside, but instead of enriching the world, they actually enrich the graveyard. And so as men, It is our job not to enrich the graveyard, but to enrich the earth realm in which
Yes,
we live. And
exactly.
so we have to find our lane. We have to get in our lane and be that light in our communities that young people need, especially.
Yes.
Men have to be. We've been called to protect. We've been called to be that gatekeeper, to be that one that keeps out harm, right, while also
Right.
bringing in the good. And
Right.
so I think the reason I think we would advance more if we got in our lane, operated in our lane, and operated in the spirit of excellence.
Yes, that's true. That's true. But sometimes it's difficult to find out what is our lane, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think
Like
that's
that sometimes takes some time. I remember reading the book
yeah.
Purpose Driven Life. That was
Mhm.
I credit that book, for being very instrumental in my journey
Mhm.
of discovering purpose. I was trying to find my way. I knew I had potential. I knew I had been given a calling. But that book helped me to really see. And then things like Know Thyself by Dr. Naeem Akbar, Visions for Black
Mm.
Men by Naeem Akbar, those type of books that kind of helped put me on the path to really, really digging deep, reaching down, and really beginning to operate in that purpose.
Yeah. So do you think that men shy away from becoming leaders because of their heavy responsibilities?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Well, I think there's a couple reasons, right?
Mhm.
I think sometimes men don't actually know that they're leaders, right?
Mm.
They may
Right.
be saying, well, how is that? I think because when you're just operating in the mundane, right?
Right.
And many times, as you know, we find ourselves in survival mode all the time. And so
Yes.
when you're constantly in survival mode, it's hard to see yourself actually thriving
Yes.
because
Mm-hmm. That's true.
you just trying to listen. You just trying to make it to the end of the week to get
Yes.
this food or to to just put gas in the car. So when
Yes.
you're in survival mode, you're not trying to hear nothing really about no leadership. You're just trying to
That's
make
true.
it, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's one of the reasons men shy away from leadership is that they're just really in survival mode. And then I also think many just simply can't hold up to the unrealistic expectation
Mm.
in the gallery, right? And so
Yeah.
we know what it looks like you're trying to do right, and everything you do, you get beat down, because I tell people all
Yes.
the time, in leadership, those that you're helping the most will be the same ones that will kill you, right?
Yes.
Those that you help the most, that you put money in their hand, you help send their child to college, you put food on their table, you went and picked them up when they needed to go to the game. Those are the same
Mm.
people that will eventually double cross you sometimes. And so I think that's what sometimes keep men from operating in those positions, because in in a lot of cases, we also need conflict resolution skills as men.
Yes.
That's what we're not taught. How to be in conflict with each other, but still love each other. How to
Mm.
be in conflict with each other, but still operate in our leadership position, right? And so
Right.
I think those type of things kind of keep us from, taking that position that we're supposed to be taking. But I think our goal should be sharing with young people more than anything. I deal with young people, so I will always preach how we have to give
Mm.
back to young people
Yeah.
as men. I think that is our job. Every man should be mentoring. Mentoring
Mm.
is not about having a degree. It's not about what you got on the wall. It's not about you making $1 million. It's simply you saying, I have a skill set and I want to provide something for the next generation, right? And if
Wow.
I don't have the skill set that they need, it's my job to go find somebody and connect them with the person that they need, right? And so I think every man should be mentoring in some type of way.
Wow. I never thought about that idea. That is a phenomenal idea because it also helps them to become leaders, and then don't even know it they're doing that. They're leading someone to another place in their lives, especially if you don't have any children or whatever. That gives them the extra skill to do that and to practice that. Yeah. What do you think men want to see change in the communities to help them get stronger men, to be stronger men?
I think men would like to see more opportunities. I think men, every person wants to feel validated.
Yes, that's true.
No matter if I'm talking to a 2-year-old, to a person that's 60, to a person that's 70. They all want the same thing. They want to feel validated. They want to be heard. They want to be seen, and they want to be loved and respected.
Mm-hmm.
Those things every human being wants, and I think that's what guys really want. They want more opportunities. Because I don't really fall into the narrative that all black men, or men don't want to work or don't want to do this. There's a lot of people that want to do things, but I think there are sometimes barriers in place, and I think we're finding ourselves trying to overcome barriers all the time.
Right.
We're trying to overcome certain barriers, and I think men just want opportunities. I don't know a man that doesn't want to be proud to stand in front of his family and say, I can provide, or that I can be a leader, or I can be the leader of a community. I can be a person that's looked up to as a solid person, a human being. I think every man wants that. And so, but I think we sometimes fall into certain narratives that are portrayed about us. So we constantly find ourselves counteracting negative stereotypes about men that we've all heard. And so I think we just want more opportunity.
Yeah. So in calling all kings, how can we help eliminate the outside sources from men in order to grow into depth into who they're called to be? Because it's hard to limit that. It's hard.
I think we have to do more of what I'm doing with the young kings. I'm working with boys 10 to 18. At some point, I have to also develop something for men where we can come together and pull from those sources that we have on the inside, right? And be that connection that other men need, to get into their lane, because some people simply don't know how. They don't know where to start.
That's true.
Their lane, and so it takes somebody connecting. We have to be the connecting point for people. And I think that's what we don't do enough of. We don't connect people enough.
Yes.
We burn bridges. We burn too many bridges instead of building bridges, right?
That's true.
And we allow those bridges to be burned over petty stuff. Like religion and how I feel about this, just small petty stuff that breaks us up, causes division, when we really should be coming together, especially at a time like this. It's too critical.
Yes,
like we're in too critical of a time to still be fighting each other and still, arguing over petty stuff. Like it's time to really grow. It's time to really learn. It's time, if 2020 taught us nothing else, is to value people. It's to value our time more, to value, what we bring to society, because we're not guaranteed to be here.
That's right. So in calling all kings, what are some tools and practices that can help men in their insecurities?
I think the first tool that I would give any man is self-investment. Self-investment. A man has to invest in himself. If you want to learn something, and you don't have time to go to school, you don't have time to go spend 4 years, right?
Right.
But I guarantee you there's a course somewhere. I guarantee you there's a book somewhere. I guarantee you there's a college, a trade school that may be 2 years, even a apprenticeship from
Yes.
somebody that is already operating. You want to learn real estate? You don't need to go 4 years of college. Go find a local agent. Ask
Yeah.
them, what did you do to take the test? How much was the test? So I know what I need to do. What do I need to save up? How many paychecks do I need to now save up to get on track, right?
Right.
And so what I'm saying is that we can't continue to sit back, but we have to be proactive. Whatever it is we want to learn. I was speaking, and so I wanted to be around great speakers. So I started going to speaker boot camps, and I started, going to learning. I went to a boot camp called How to Become an Educational Consultant. I went to a Black speakers boot camp, and I'm just learning and I'm just growing and I'm just seeing how it is that they're able to conduct business. How do you get paid to speak? Because at one point I didn't know people make thousands of dollars to speak, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm just sitting out there, I'm seeing somebody speak, and I'm thinking, they just here, they just came, but not knowing that it's an actual business. Like you can actually make 6 figures speaking, you actually make $1 million speaking, selling books, and all these different things. So I started getting in those particular circles that I wanted to learn from. And I think every man has to find his tribe. Every person has a tribe. You have to find your tribe. No longer can you sit back and say, well, I'm the only one that thinks like I think. No, you're not. It's 7 billion people on earth. Like, I guarantee you're not the only person that thinks like you think. I guarantee you there's a tribe somewhere that fits you, that fits your mentality, that has the same mindset that you have. So it's all about finding your tribe and finding those that will support you. Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. Go where they're gonna lift you up, where they're gonna say, hey, you the greatest, you got the greatest skill on the planet, right?
Yes.
So every man has to invest in himself. Cannot preach. I also want to talk about insecurity. I think a lot of times men deal with certain insecurities because they feel inadequate. Okay, now not feel inadequate. I need to go get the skills, right? So that I don't feel inadequate.
Yes.
I can't just sit back and say, hey, I don't feel, I don't want to keep dealing with imposter syndrome for the rest of my life, right?
Yes.
I want to go and get the skills I need so that when I walk into the place, I know I'm supposed to be here.
Yes.
Like, I'm supposed to be here. This is not a mistake that they call me. This is not just some happenstance, but I'm here on purpose. I'm here because I'm called to be here. And so any man that's feeling certain insecurities, it's because you feel inadequate somewhere. And so now you have to begin to fill in those gaps. Why am I feeling inadequate? What do I need? What am I supposed to be getting to help fill in those gaps? And so I think once you do that, you will find yourself on the road to success. But it's about self-investment. Have to invest in yourself.
Yes, I love it. There are so many strong and powerful men on this planet. What do you think is the most important attribute to have in order to maintain, to be present in your growth?
I think the greatest attribute a man can have is the ability to put ego to the side. If a man cannot put his ego to the side, he's in trouble. Ego has done so much to trip us up in our communities. This from the church to the mosque to the synagogue,
everywhere.
We cannot get past ego. When something happens in our communities, instead of us mobilizing and going to solve problems, we're worried about whose church is it at? Who's gonna be the main speaker? Who's gonna do this? Who's gonna and then everybody begins to spread and fall apart over the small petty stuff. And all it is the enemy using ego against us. And we keep falling into the trap over and over again. It's like we don't learn lessons, like we don't learn anything from history. Like, this is the way that we've always been tripped up, but yet we still fall into the trap. It's ego. A man has to be able to put his ego to the side. Sometimes I'm in rooms, if a conversation come up I know nothing about, I need to be quiet. Right? So if they're talking about selling real estate, well, I'm a speaker, I'm not a real estate guy. So I need to be to listen to the real estate broker. Like
Yes.
I need to. You have to know when to be quiet as a man, when to sit back and learn. You know, and you know, I had to learn these lessons because I was that guy that every time something happened in the world, I got to go instantly go to Facebook, express my opinion, and somebody told me, they said, "Look, you're growing a platform now, right? So your voice is always going to be needed, but you have to learn timing. Some things are about timing. Your voice is always going to be needed, but is it the time right now, or is it going to be next week? You have
Right.
to learn timing because, you know, and all of that goes with the ego, you know, because that ego tells you, do it now,
Right.
say it now, cuss them out now, argue with them
Yes.
now, fuss now. But you have to just cool off a little bit, get your time together, you know what I'm saying? And just know when to let your voice be heard, because when that voice is heard in the right timing, it's so powerful.
Yes.
It's so
And it's
powerful.
receptive to
It's
timing.
heard in the right timing, but we throw
Yes.
ourselves out of timing with our ego. And so every man has to learn how to put that ego to the side, or he cannot be successful.
That's
It's
so
just
true. That's true. Calling all kings. As a society, how can we assist and encourage young kings to walk into their purpose? What can or what should we do to help them all?
mentor, mentor, mentor. I am the professor of mentorship. That's preach all over the nation. Mentorship is the most powerful tool that we have, because somebody says it like this. Somebody says a mentor can take 40 years to do something, but if the mentee listens close enough, they can learn in 4 years what it took you
Yes.
4 years to learn, right? They can learn in 4 hours sometimes what it took you 40 years to learn. And so doesn't mean they're not going to have challenges, they're not going to fall, they're not going to fail. But if you're listening to the right people, it will lessen, you know, your time. You know, you won't always have to take the steps on everything. Sometimes you'll be allowed to take the elevator, right?
Yeah.
But it takes you being able to listen. So that's what mentorship does. It allows you to actually be able to give your very essence to another person in some
Yes.
instances, and actually see them grow. And so I think that's what we should all be doing. We should be mentoring every opportunity that we get, because I can guarantee you there's somebody in your community that needs positivity.
Yes,
There's
I agree.
I tell people this, and they always laugh when I say this. The world is so negative that people will pay you thousands of dollars to come talk positive for 10 minutes.
That's true.
Think about that. Just think about that. The world we live in is so negative that people will actually put on a program and pay you $1,000 just to come talk positive for 30 minutes because they need positivity. And so I can guarantee you there's somebody, a young son, a young daughter, somewhere in your community that needs your mentorship, that needs you to call them and check on them just 10 minutes a week. How are you doing? What's going on at school? Are you being bullied? Is it anything, you know, I can do? You know, because sometimes they'll tell you things that they won't even tell their own parents.
Right.
You know, and so we have a responsibility to be that mentor that they need. And so that's what I would say, is that we need to find ourselves being mentors.
Yeah. Before I let you go, I'll ask you one more question. Jesus always went away alone and pray. How important is it for men to have their alone time to be present in their emotions and their thoughts in order for God to cultivate them into kings and who they need to be?
And I think it's very, very important. Self-care is not always just going to the spa.
Pampering
Right?
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, self-care is not just being pampered all the time, but it's actually sitting with your thoughts.
Yes.
When you sit with those thoughts for a while, I think sometimes you can see that other people may not be the problem, maybe you, right?
That's
But
right.
until you sit with those thoughts, we popping off at everybody else. It's always somebody else.
Yes.
It's them, it's them, it's never us, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think
Mm-hmm.
self-care is actually sitting with yourself long enough. And I think men need self-care. Somebody has tricked us. Somebody has told us that that's for women, right? To that's for women to do this or do that. Listen, my self-care
Yeah.
is I go buy books. I love books. I have probably 1,000 books.
Cool.
They're everywhere. I still got some in Atlanta, Georgia, when I went to school there. They just thrown in a closet. I'm serious. That is part of my self-care. I love to read a new book. I used to read 4 books a month.
Wow.
Now, not that many now, but maybe I'll get back to that. But
Mm-hmm.
I just love it. I love that process. That's my self-care. That
Yeah.
allows me to reflect. That allows me to learn something new, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
reading different genres of books. I like to read different
Yeah.
from business to health and wealth,
Mm-hmm.
finance, it's all different, types of books. And so whatever it takes for you to get that self-care, you have to go do it. Whatever that looks like. Some people go to the gym. I love to go to the gym as well.
Mm-hmm.
On the
Mm-hmm.
treadmill,
Yeah.
come out to the track, walk a couple times, and just enjoy the air.
Mm.
We
Yes.
we take for granted just like
That's
I saw
true.
somebody like a couple weeks ago. I saw a child flying a kite.
Mm.
Like, when was the last time you saw a child flying a kite? Like, something simple can
Yes.
have so much meaning. I just sit there, I'm like, bro, like they're flying a kite, like
Yes.
they're really enjoying life. Like they don't have a cell
Yes.
phone in their hand. Like they're
That's
not on
right.
not on Facebook. They're actually outside, actually
Yes.
enjoying God's creation, just flying a kite. So
Mm-hmm.
something that simple can have so much
Yes.
meaning. And I think that's what self-care is. It's doing something simple that will have so much meaning to you in that moment and for the long term. So we have to do as much self-care as we can.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much for your advice and your expertise for calling all kings into your purpose and who God wants you to be. So thank you so much. Thank you so, so much. And God bless you.
Salute.
Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you for coming in another episode of Stopping the Silence. Remember that you are not alone. Help me to help you to stop your silence. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Thank you for joining in.